and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa Somuayina and welcome to the fam. So guys, in today's pick a card reading, we're going to be looking at your upcoming week. And in order to help you uncover what's coming next, as well as how to heal and how to deal, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these groups intuitively. But something that I want you to do differently in this reading is to pick a group that resonates with the intention that you're setting for your next week. So think of your next week and what you would like more of in your life. This could be something that you're struggling with or something that you just feel like you really need, like more love, gratitude, happiness. Whichever feeling and emotion it is that you want to dedicate your next week to and be mindful of, use that same emotion to help guide you when picking your group, your crystal. So if, for instance, you're dedicating your upcoming week to you being more brave, for you, that may really resonate with the Carnelian, or for instance, the Selenite. And if you want to be just overall more mindful, maybe you feel as though that's something that really calls the Amethyst to you, or for instance, the Celestine. So allow your intention for your next week to guide you when picking. So I'm just going to repeat the 4 names of the gems so everything is crystal clear. So we have the Amethyst for group 1, we have the Selenite for group 2, we have the Celestine for group 3, as well as the Carnelian for group 4. And as usual, the timestamps to all 4 groups can be found down below in the description box, so just click your timestamp and you will be fast forwarded to your reading. So yeah, you guys, I'm just in a really great mood and can't wait to get into your readings about your upcoming week. So I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Amethyst, and to all of my other gorgeous groups. I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Amethyst crystal, group number 1, which is such a gorgeous gem. Let me give you a quick close-up so you can take a better look at it. This is such a gorgeous crystal. It is one that brings out your psychic abilities as well as your intuition, which is most likely exactly what you need in your upcoming week. But let's move into it to figure out what else is going on for you. So we have the Wolverine as well as the horse. So one thing that I can see here in the Wolverine is just the fact that you have very fierce energy surrounding you in next week, okay? So this fierce energy is fighting for freedom. It's fighting for the fact that you want to live a life that allows you to do whatever it is that you want to do. So in correspondence to the horse, you know, maybe you have friends or family members that are always very skeptical of your dreams and aspirations and kind of make you second guess yourself. But I see here in you, Wolverine, that is not happening next week for you, group number 1. You're fiercely standing by your aspirations, the things that you want to accomplish, and that is something that you should be proud of, because a lot of the people who have accomplished great things in their lifetime have had to come through these adversities of friends, family members, just kind of bringing them down, okay, kind of killing their vibe, and they had to step over that, get over that, to move into a space where they were able to go after what they wanted and prove and show everybody, I can succeed. I don't need to go down a conventional route or a route that is approved by society. I can lean into my freedom, my independence, and allow myself to embrace that and lead a fabulous life. But let's move a little further into your reading to figure out some more details about your upcoming week, shall we? So we have number 8, which corresponds to strength, as well as the 6 of shells. So group number 1 in strength, one thing that I can see here is, again, a lot of courage, a lot of endurance, and just you basically not giving an F about what other people think or say when it comes to the stuff that you desire, the stuff that you really, really love, which I'm proud of you for, group number 1, okay? A lot of people never find it in them to be fierce, to stand up for themselves. cells. But I also do want you to know here, in correlation to the Wolverine, that when you're very fierce and you have a strong opinion, of course that can cause challenges and friction in your relationship. So that's where the Six of Shells really comes in. And the Six of Shells is the type of energy that brings joy and that allows you to collaborate with other people because you're extending the olive branch and helping others out. So instead of allowing people to get to you with their comments and their words, or allowing the world to get you down, ask yourself, what can I do in order to make somebody else's life easier? Just completely ignore any kind of picking on you, any type of emotion that is coming towards you that you feel has ill intent, ill will, or is just very misinformed, because often friends and family, they don't have ill intent, but they're not as informed about the things that you love as of course you are, obviously. So they may come to conclusions that are far from true, right? But that doesn't mean that they meant any harm. But to just kind of ignore that and move forward, asking yourself, how can I do something for them to make them less worried and to kind of shake them off of my back when it comes to what it is that I want to do, so I don't always need to be so fierce and bring all my strength into protecting myself. Instead of doing that, I can use all of my strength, my fierce energy to really just go out there and get things done and make my dreams come true. Then we have the Wheel, as well as the 10 of Acorns. So times are really changing in your next week. That is one thing that I see in the Wheel. I see a lot of emotion kind of going up, down, sideways, all over the place, basically. So I want you to know in the Wheel that this change comes with a lot of possibility for you to teach people more about the things that you love, more about the things that you know so much about, but also be kind of a little bit cautious. The Wheel does have the octopus on it, which tends to have its like little tentacles in everybody's business. So it could be that people are sticking their nose in your business where it does not belong, or that maybe you're giving a bit too much unsolicited advice, or you feel like doing that. So try and kind of like retract next week from that, group number one, refrain yourself from that. And instead, in the 10 of Acorns, just put all of your dedication towards your creative ventures and the things that really light that fire and get you going on the inside, right? Things that really inspire you. So for instance, picking up a book about magic, about herbs, about just overall being a better person, being a more effective person in this lifetime. But it could also be painting, singing, just moving your body. Whatever it is next week that sparks joy, put your dedication into that instead of trying to teach other people, especially those who don't want to be taught, okay? Then we have, we have the SX. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but you get the picture, group number one. So being very sensual is one thing that you're kind of being urged to do next week, but in correlation to the health checkup, make sure that everything is healthy down there, okay? Make sure that you're leading a healthy life when it comes to who you're intimate with. Think about that and remind yourself that every intimate encounter is really like an energetic exchange, and make sure that you're very picky and you would rather be physical with yourself by yourself, if you know what I mean, than just give it to somebody that you don't know really appreciates it or understands how much you protect your energy from false friends, false situations. So for you to let somebody in on an intimate level, make sure that that person really understands what that means and how much depth goes into that, that it's not just those 3 letters, it's so much more to you. So make sure that that is very clear, understood, and that you feel understood before you engage in any type of romantic or sensual activities with another human being. Then we have Sync with the Moon. as well as watch a movie. So one thing is plain and simple for you, group number one, just watching a movie, having fun with friends, with family, watching something that is interesting that maybe just came out that has a very therapeutic effect on you. We do have like a little cat here, a little mug with like coffee or tea. So even if it's just lying there with your pet, your favorite four-legged friend, make sure that you enjoy those moments, that you take time to just watch a movie, shut off, and sync with the moon as well. I see that celestial events next week have a deep impact on your life as well as your well-being. So it's important for you to use that evening, use that day where you can already kind of feel like you're connected in a greater way, but it's maybe even a little stressful. So you feel like it's just one of those nights that you're going to be lying in bed in a very restless manner. That's the night you tune into the movie. That's the night you just allow yourself to feel all of the energy, which can be a lot, but not react to it. So I want to close off your reading for next week with a postcard. These postcards have messages from your spirit guides, and I just want you to enjoy these and listen into them. So I will read them to you. Dearest you, are you taking yourself and your problems too seriously? Maybe fear of the future is weighing on you. We would like you to take a little break from all that and start having fun. When you stop fixating on what has been making you heavy-hearted, we get a chance to move some magic in your direction. We just need you to let go a little. Spirit needs some room and gets very inspired by your laughter when you have fun. When was the last time you got really loose, silly, and goofy? Maybe you need to go dancing or watch some very funny comedy to make you laugh. Or call the one friend you know will remind you how ridiculous and delightfully giddy you can be. You will return refreshed, renewed, and ready to once again see the world as less daunting. And you will be ready to receive in perfect timing the bounty that Spirit has for you. Don't you just love how much we care about you? So group number one, those were the messages from your guides for your next week. Please take those as well as the intention that you set for your next week with you. Write it down. Don't forget it. Tune into it every morning, every day, just to remind yourself of what your intention is for the next week and to keep you mindful throughout the week. If you made it to the end of your reading, make sure that you leave a little octopus emoji down below in the comments section. If you don't have the octopus emoji, it's completely fine. Just write octopus and I'll understand exactly what you mean, group number one, and that you made it to the end. I hope you're doing amazing, staying safe. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'll see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number two. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Selenite, group number two. Let's do a quick close-up of your crystal, shall we? So this is what a gorgeous selenite tower looks like. These stones help you to just detoxify any bad vibes, any energy vampires that may be leeching positivity off of you, which is most likely exactly what you need to do moving into your next week. But let's figure out what's coming for you, shall we? So we have the honeybee as well as the hyena. So one thing that I see in correlation to the honeybee and the hyena is that there is some fear here in correspondence to getting back, okay? So you're kind of afraid to put yourself out there next week. You're kind of afraid to let others know exactly what it is that you feel and putting in work up front, because reciprocity is something where you have been let down in, okay? Reciprocity is in giving and then receiving. So this doesn't mean that you're the kind of person who gives in order to receive. You are selfless enough to give and not expect anything in return, but oftentimes you have given and hope that when you're in a situation of need, that that friend or family member would do the same thing for you, and then you're in that difficult situation and it's crickets, okay? It's just dust mites. It's nobody's there. And one thing that I see here in the hyena is that that fear is something that can hold you more captive than you had ever expected. So just living with that fear and overall that anxiety of not wanting to put out because you're not kind of sure if you'll get anything in return should you need somebody, that can keep you very deserted and feeling detached and almost a little bit numb, if you will, group number 2. So as you can see, there are 2 different worlds here. There's this kind of like really dead world, if you will, like emotionally dead, deceased, and then we have this beautiful, colorful, lush, fresh world over here. So I want you to really delve into yourself emotionally to figure out if you have been living in a mode where you're not allowing yourself to feel or to give as much as you maybe would or naturally are inclined to, because that's just the person that you are, just because you're protecting yourself. And protecting yourself is important, group number 2. I'm definitely not going to tell you not to do that, because sadly there are a lot of people who will take advantage of those who don't protect themselves. But at the same time, you can sometimes bring yourself in a situation where you're numb, where you don't really feel all the feels that you could otherwise be a part of and have in your life, if you would just be able to let go a little more, to trust a little more in the goodness of some of the people that are around you. And then we have the Knight of Acorns. So in the Knight of Acorns, we have you kind of being driven to take action, kind of having a very creative spark that is kind of coming into your life next week in a very unexpected way. So a creative spark may be you all of a sudden wanting to finish that DIY project that you had been saving things for like the past months, maybe all of a sudden actually going out and working out even though you haven't done so in a very long time. Just feeling inspired to do something immediately is what I see. Then we have the Four of Crystals, which is kind of you trying to remain in control, but maybe being a little bit too impatient. So make sure that these projects that you feel compelled to tackle immediately next week, that they're not too expensive, that they're not going to cost you an arm and a leg or chew into your savings. There's one thing, just, you know, doing something impulsively and spontaneously, that's one thing. But then on the other hand, if you do something spontaneously that is going to have a negative long-term effect, that is really where you need to be careful that you don't fall into the category of being reckless with yourself. So that is, for instance, getting a new credit card or racking up credit card debt, starting some sort of payment plan for something that you don't really need, which, you know, is something that I don't agree with brands offering at all for like little things that people don't really need. I mean, a payment plan for a $50 top, I mean, do you really need the top that badly that you're going on a payment plan for it? You know what I mean? Just those types of things. Of course, these opportunities and just ways of bringing yourself into debt or into difficult situations long term can come up many different ways. There's also, you know, pyramid schemes where people try to sell you this amazing business opportunity so you think you're doing something for yourself, you think you're getting yourself into a better financial position, but in actuality you're just kind of being pushed into it, which is another thing in the Knight of Acorns. Once you have your fire going, it's hard to see clearly, so make sure that you see things already beforehand in a very objective way, and that you don't allow anybody to talk you into something or amazing marketing to get you to put yourself in a difficult financial situation. Then we have the Emperor as well as the Ace of Crystals. So in the Ace of Crystals, I do see that there are awesome business opportunities here for you next week, amongst the ones that I would not recommend that we just spoke about. So knowing the Ace of Crystals here, that there is more prosperity that is flourishing your way, group number 2. And in the Emperor, I see here that you have to really focus on all of the aspects of these possibilities in order to responsibly make the right decision, not just for you now, but for you long term, right? Because internally, you're a bit impatient. You want to get things done immediately, but you have to really think for the long term and put yourself in your shoes like 5 years from now. Would 5 years from now you approve of a hasty decision financially? Probably not. So that is the type of voice that you should listen to. That is the voice of reason that you want to put at the forefront of your life next week, group number 2. But let's move into it with a postcard from your spirit guides. So these postcards contain messages from your guides on what you should kind of be looking out for and where it would be good to put your attention towards. So I'll read yours to you right now. Dearest you, isn't it amazing how things seem to come around again, full circle in ways you could not possibly have planned? You wonder how a dream could die only to be resurrected years later when you're really ready. You thought it was time back then, but your wisdom knows better than your small self, whose desires are unmet. Now here you are with a new opportunity to do things from a different, more mature perspective. We want you to trust that in this opportunity for rebirth, you will be called in 2 directions, and the one that is unfamiliar will be the right one. In the unknown spaces, the uncharted places of infinite potential, we are waiting to guide you into your fullest life. Big bounty will come if you remain in the present. You have come full circle, and now you can see that everything changes, is made new, and is given new hope. Loving you always. I just love these beautiful, kind-hearted, loving messages from our guides. I just find them really easy to connect to and to understand. So hopefully you feel the same way, group number 2. If you've made it to this point, leave a little bee emoji down below in order to let me know and to just connect with the group number 2 tribe for next week. Then we have the SEX group number 2. So this is one thing, I'm not quite sure if I'm even allowed to say that. That's why I'm just saying SEX, not because I'm afraid to say it, but you guys know how YouTube can be. So this is one thing that is kind of a focal point next week. So this could be how you feel about yourself on an intimate level, or how you feel about another human being. But either way, make sure that you're engaging in being intimate out of a place of really wanting it and really understanding the consequences of being intimate with somebody, even though you don't really want to, or just by feeling pressured into it. That can really have a long-term physiological and psychological effect on you, especially if you're somebody who is an empath, someone who's naturally a highly sensitive, who is really sensitive to any types of energies that are on the difficult side, on the challenging side, negative energy entities. Okay, it's important for you to only engage in those activities with other people that you really feel like you're on the same wavelength with, and otherwise to just, do it alone by yourself. Light a candle, listen to some great music, and just be in that spot, be in that place. You know what I mean, group number 2. Then we have writing a gratitude list. So one thing that I want you to partake in next week that I think we could all benefit from partaking in is writing a list of 3 things, 10 things, just things that you're grateful for every single day. That's actually one thing that I've been doing every morning, that I've been writing down in my journal, a gratitude list, just 3 things that I want to get done to feel proud of myself each day so I'm not overwhelmed, and then also a gratitude list of just the simplest things that I'm grateful for, such as the fact that I have my 6 senses, right? The fact that I am here and able to create this content for you. The fact that I have a roof over my head, a beautiful space to call my home. Things very simple that we take for granted every day can really allow us to already have an intention of gratitude every single morning that carries us through our entire day. And then we have clear your energy field, as well as energy work. So you're very, very much sensitive to energy next week, group number 2. And this is one thing that you should most likely be working on by cleansing, clearing your energy field. So different ways how you can do that is, of course, for instance, with crystals like the Selenite. But another way how you can cleanse your energy field is by using sage or Palo Santo. Another thing that you can do is also just eat in a very clean way, or engage in some intermittent fasting, you know what I mean. just fasting in general. And I don't mean anything crazy or anything difficult, just making the window a bit smaller in which you consume food. So for the rest of the day, your body is able to use its energy more effectively instead of you constantly being in a state of digestion because you're constantly snacking. So for instance, starting your meals at 10 a.m. and being done with your meals at 5 p.m. So you really just tighten that window in which you consume food, and for the rest of the day, your body is able to fast, detoxify, and cleanse. In energy work, book in that Reiki section, book in that Reiki session, not section, book in that energy healing that you've been wanting to do, or, engage more in meditation and yoga. Those are great ways how you can realign your chakras and get yourself to a place where everything is functioning as you wish that it would. I want to say as it should, but as human beings, we're meant to have better days where we kind of like fall off of what we've been trying to accomplish, and that's fine. But next week is really about realignment for you, group number 2. So take that seriously and bring any chakras that seem very imbalanced back into balance. So group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Thank you for sharing this sacred space with me today. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Celestine group number 3. Let me know down below what intention that you set on the Celestine for your upcoming week. Let me do a little close-up for you. So this is the gorgeous gemstone that you ended up choosing. I absolutely love this stone. It is so beautiful and multifaceted. But let's move into your reading to figure out what's coming for you next week. So we have the seahorse as well as the chameleon. So in the chameleon, we have kind of adaptability as well as change. The chameleon is also in correspondence to the number 33, a master number. So this master number is a master number that speaks of the highest form of integrity being asked of you, even in changing times. Even though things are happening so quickly and rapidly around you, the fact that you're able to still keep your promises, to still see through the things that you know that you need to do, that is where I see you really shining and showing the best side of yourself. So make sure that you stick to all of the things that you set your mind to, group number 3. That will make you feel really proud of yourself as well. In the seahorse, we are speaking of equality, and I definitely see here, a discussion boiling down to you just having to explain to somebody like, look, you are needing to see this viewpoint because this is what equality is. So somebody who maybe does not agree with the fact that all humans and love is made equal, or basically, animals should have rights as well. Animals should be able to feel protected and safe even around us human beings. So just having to explain to other people really what equality means to you and why it is such an important thing for us to cultivate as a species, why it is so important for us to understand that one of the reasons why we've gotten to this point in humanity is because we are one of the species that is able to feel empathy for other species, for ourselves as well, right? Which makes us very complex, and this is something that we shouldn't lose, even when there is factory farming, when there are terrible slaughterhouses out there. It's very important for us to keep in mind, like, hey, every day-to-day empathy is so important, as well as trying to just spread more messages of love and equality and love and just rights, activism, so on and so forth. And to just embed that in our everyday life, how we interact with those around us. Because while you can't save the whole world or change everything about yourself immediately, you can still do those little things day in, day out that make this world a better place and encourage others to do so as well. Then we have the elephant. So in the elephant, I see you taking the lead. I see that in these difficult times, a lot of people are looking up to you for that wisdom, for all of those little bits, bobs, and pieces of advice that you have to share that make you kind of like a authoritative figure in their eyes, because you're well read, you're somebody who is well informed and can see things from really fun perspectives. So that is in the elephant, where I see you sharing your wisdom is having a lot more of an impact than you ever thought, even if that's just through a post that makes people think. Trust me, it is way better to just put a post out there than to do nothing, because in today's day and age, we often shame one another, or people get shamed for, oh, you just posted, but what did you actually do to make a change? But at the same time, it's like, can we just encourage any type of activism, any type of sharing, any type of bringing the message out there? Because shaming people for posting might stop somebody from taking action, more action in real life, because now you've shamed them for just posting. Why should they go that extra step? That might have been that person's way of preparing to actually advocate for something, for actually show up to a march, to actually help animals in need, to actually go and donate, to actually inform themselves more, you know? So when we shut people down just when they're taking baby steps or taking the first steps in the right direction because the steps aren't big enough, we're completely missing the point. So that is where I see that you just need to stay strong and remember that any step in the right direction makes you a leader, makes you strong, and means that you're doing the right thing. Then we have the rhino. So in the rhino, one thing that I see here is that, you know, just be a bit more moderate, or do things more in, no, not moderate. Is that even a word in English? I mean, do things in moderation. That is one thing that the rhino is trying to talk to you about. So don't be hard on yourself when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your consumption of, say, caffeine or alcohol, or just even being intimate, okay? Allow yourself to live. Of course, do everything in moderation, but don't beat yourself up if you're a little weaker in some areas than in others. For instance, for me, I've always felt like I've been a little weaker when it comes to eating the way I want to eat, the way that I think is healthy, compared to, for instance, my discipline in, say, getting videos up. You know, everybody struggles in different areas. Somebody else might be the most perfect, clean eater and, you know, just feel amazing physically, but they really struggle to get content up or to get work done. So don't beat your one area or your 2 areas or 3 areas up just because those are the ones that are lacking or difficult for you to control, when you could in fact be leaning into all of the things that you're amazing at. Then we have creating art as well as intuition. So group number 3, next week is an artsy week for you. If you can paint, you're going to create something that you'll be proud of. That is one thing that I see in create art. And you don't have to be good at it, okay? Sometimes I sit down and I draw things in my journal, or I challenge myself, because in a few months I look back and I think, wow, I've come so far. So even though I'm maybe not like a Picasso, I can still be proud of the fact that, you know, I just intuitively moved my body, my hands in a way that created something beautiful and something that shows progress as well as bravery. And it seems really weird, right, to talk about being brave when it comes to just drawing or painting, but I mean, you have to be brave to just draw and create something that might turn out not very beautiful, that might turn out, quite frankly speaking, just looking like a 2-year-old drew it. Let's be real, that's a real fear, right? Or somebody else seeing it. So if you can keep it to yourself because you're really worried about somebody else seeing your art, keep it to yourself, do it in a private moment, but don't be embarrassed in front of yourself, because there's a lot of embarrassment that we have festering within ourselves that is just feeling embarrassed in front of just ourselves. So try and break that barrier, because once you break that barrier, it's a lot easier to not feel embarrassed in front of other people. In intuition, that is a very clear, straightforward thing that you are being called to lean into, group number 3. Your intuition, your third eye chakra, your sixth sense, your gut feeling, call it however you want to. I see that it is basically yelling at you next week to do things a certain way or to consider certain options in your life. And ignoring it would be a mistake. Ignoring it is something that you would regret. So definitely make part of your intention for next week to listen to your intuition, purely your intuition, not other people, but yourself and the wisdom that is coming from you. Then we have Temperance, as well as the Ace of Shells. So Temperance is kind of similar to the Rhino and doing things in a moderate way. I want you to know here in Temperance that through balance, you're going to be able to achieve harmony, group number 3. So focus on balance, focus on a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but not leaning too much into a specific thing. For instance, for me, sometimes I can really lean into my yoga practice or just overall physical workouts to the point where I'm needing to take a break day, not because I want to, but because my body is aching, because it just doesn't feel good anymore. So don't let yourself slip off, get to that point like I just explained to you that I've been at recently. Allow yourself to already notice beforehand and be more intuitive, because when you push your body too much, you're really going against your nature, which will have side effects. It will have effects of, more lethargic, fatigued type of feelings, not feeling 100% yourself, and maybe being very easily irritable. In the Ace of Shells, I see here happiness and abundance nevertheless. So this really calls for a balanced week that you didn't expect, because with everything just kind of being all over the place in the world, you may think to yourself that next week would be a very difficult one. But in fact, group number 3, this is great news for you. Your week seems to be kind of full of happiness, full of little moments that you can blow up into a lot of happiness. For instance, seeing a beautiful ladybug, or just smiling at a child, a baby, having fun with your friends and family. That seems like something little, but you just really appreciate it to the point that it blows up into this overwhelming feeling of joy and happiness, and you therefore create your own happiness because you are consciously deciding to make these things that you could just write off as little things, you're deciding to make them huge chunks and bits of joy. So let's move a little further into your reading with a postcard from your spirit guides. Group number 3, these postcards contain messages from your guides on what you should be kind of looking out for, what to lean into. So let's get into it. I'll read your postcard to you. Dearest you, if you allow your awareness to settle in, you will hear us whispering sweetness and encouragement to you. You will know the truth of things that cannot be discerned through the material world. The receiver for this kind of essential knowing is your intuition, which is not your sixth sense, but the primary navigational system of your soul. So that first instinct, group number 3. You're entering the age of consciousness. It's time to accept that the paranormal is normal. Human beings are multisensory, multidimensional beings. Spirit infuses all things, and your soul's job is to discover those essential truths here on earth, where we all agreed to play. Today, trust your spidey sense. Read between the lines, tune into the story behind the stories. Your world will show you miracles. Fear not, for we are right here and Spirit loves you. Trust the invisible. So group number 3, that is a really interesting way to see things. I want to move into your reading with just 2 more cards to help guide you on your way. But if you made it to this point and you enjoyed your postcard, make sure that you leave a little elephant emoji down below in the comment section just to let me know and connect with other fellow elephants. So we have ground yourself, as well as health checkups. So group number 3, make sure that you are in good shape health-wise, okay? Get that health checkup if you have any suspicions, especially what's going on in the world. Make sure that you're keeping your distance from people just people in general, not just people you love, when you're feeling off, okay? Get it checked out. Just invest that time and money. You will feel happy either way. You know, whether you find out that something needs adjustment in your diet, or you just need medication for some type of flu, some type of cold, or it just gives you like the peace of mind where you're then able to ground yourself and to move into a space where you know, okay, I'm fine. This is just me blowing it out of proportion, me just kind of being a hypochondriac, okay? Because we all have those moments, and it's only natural to feel a little paranoid and suspicious with what's going on right now, and to kind of be very, very overly analytical and overly critical with everything in our bodies. This is a very sensitive time in our lives. This is a very sensitive time in the history of mankind. So don't beat yourself up or feel like you're a hypochondriac when something could actually need adjustment or treatment. Instead, take it seriously, get it checked out, and get that real sense of being able to settle, that real sense of just inner peace. So group number 3, this is a reading that I received for you. I truly hope you enjoyed it, found it insightful and motivational, and that I gave you some good vibes to enter your next week with. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I can't wait to see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Carnelian group number 4, which is personally one of my faves. This is such a beautiful stone, and it just fits so nicely in your palm. I love holding this during meditation because I find it a very energizing type of stone. But let's move into your reading in order to figure out exactly what's coming next week for you, shall we? So we have the shark as well as the jackal. So one thing that I can see here in the jackal is a truth, okay? So you're receiving a piece of information that you didn't expect that is going to reveal the truth to you. So this could be something that has been kind of like looming within you that you've been unsure of for a long time. So asking yourself whether somebody has lied to you, whether somebody has been dishonest with you, and then receiving the truth, right? Finally getting that piece of evidence, that piece of information, that screenshot, group number 4, that you needed. Furthermore, one thing that I can see in the shark is the fact that your purpose is kind of being brought to light as well as tested. So you're being put in a situation next week where you feel as though, oh my God, this is what I am meant to do. This is why I'm here. So if you're a parent, this could be a situation where you're protecting your child, you're protecting other loved ones. If you're just in a situation where you can help other people, like for instance, providing health care to them, being able to provide a donation, you think to yourself, oh wow, like this feels so good. Actually giving, actually putting this purpose into my life is something that I crave more of. So I see almost like an addictive feeling coming towards you of chasing purpose and chasing things that feel good, chasing things that emotionally make you feel like you're doing a good job as a human being. Then we have the star. So in the star, we have kind of the sense of peace as well as healing that's coming from you doing something that is basically pro bono, okay? Basically doing something that doesn't benefit you but only benefits other people, and just feeling that sense of wow, this gratitude for being able to give, for being in this position of feeling like maybe you don't have all of the things that you want or desire, but realizing how valuable that you still are and how much you're still able to give, even though sometimes life might feel empty for you. Then we have the Hanged Man. So group number 4 in the Hanged Man, one thing that I can see here is a change of perspective and an increase in patience. So instead of getting mad at the truth that you're figuring out here in the Jackal, what you would usually do is not what you're doing next week. Next week, you're kind of pacing yourself. Next week, you're kind of doing some inner work, if you will. You're giving yourself a moment to just notice the emotions that rush through you when you get this piece of information that you've been missing. But instead of reactivity, you're just putting yourself in another person's shoes. You're just seeing things from another perspective, and that is allowing you to grow. That is allowing you to find more inner peace than you usually would. And I can see here in correlation to the Six of Shells that just other people are noticing that. Other people are finding a lot of joy in you being very reflective, in you being in a place where you can see things from a different perspective and making others feel heard. Because there's one thing all of us human beings want, is to be understood, loved, and heard. And you being able to provide that, I see that it's giving you a lot of benefits when it comes to love, when it comes to your relationships, and also in your career. Being a good listener, being somebody who makes other people feel understood is an invaluable asset. So continue to lean into that and to make people around you feel good, because you have an extraordinary gift to do so, group number 4. Then we have the Sun. So the Sun is all about vitality and joy. So you're in a good place. You're feeling healthy, joyful, and like you can just celebrate the little and the big things in your life. So don't let anything ruin that, okay? Don't allow anything that somebody may have done or said to you wrongfully that we spoke about here. Don't let that dim your light or dim your kind of rain on your parade, is what I'm trying to say. Instead, say to yourself, yeah, I could put my energy on a negative, but then what's the point? I would completely miss out on all of this joy, on the fact that I have a functioning body to be proud of, amazing people around me, and accomplishments that I need to go and celebrate. So put everything on the back burner that doesn't make you feel good and just take it in, as we spoke about in the Hanged Man. See other people's perspective and move away from just reacting, because reactivity often leaves us doing things so hastily that we regret taking action before thinking, or saying something really mean before thinking it through. And then we have abundance planning, as well as clear your energy field. So I see here that you have to kind of like cleanse yourself of how you feel about finances, group number 4, of how you feel about money specifically. So if you've grown up with the mentality that money is hard to come by, hard to make, doesn't grow on trees, which by the way, I just bought myself a money tree. You may want to do the same. Or if you've kind of been raised with, oh, you have to work really, really hard if you want to gain any kind of financial freedom. Those can be blockages, okay? Depending on how you internalize that, that can really stop you from receiving abundance, because now in your head you have this placebo that if you did not work your butt off for money, it's going to not arise. So guess what's going to happen in your life? If you don't kill yourself for it, it's not going to appear. Whereas if you use kind of like the whole self-fulfilling prophecy of it's easy to come by, I can be financially free, be financially stable, that's when you open up the realm of possibility for that to happen. But if you already close that door and say it has to be hard, that possibility has been eliminated. Just as you can only, like you have 100% chance at failing at something that you don't even try, okay? There's like a saying that goes somewhat like that. So the only way how you can have any chance, stand even 1% chance at succeeding, is if you even open the door, try, change your perspective. So in abundance planning, you're being called to create, so this is one thing that I really love to do, group number 4, let me let you in on it. So creating like a pyramid where at the very top you start with like $50, then you go up to $500, $1,000, $5,000. And what you do is on each level, you have to spend that money. It can't be on bills. It can't be on things that are necessities. Just spend the money like for fun, writing down how you would spend that money on whatever it is that you desire, but it must not be something that is a necessity or just a bill that regularly appears, right? right? So doing that can really open up your mind. It can really cleanse your energy of negative thoughts and just negative connections that you have with money, and make it more fun to think about. So when you think about your little abundance pyramid, your little abundance planner that you made on how you will spend that money once you receive it, it makes you feel good about money, right? Even just thinking about it now, creating that, and just thinking, oh, what would I spend that on? What would I experience had I been able to have this financial bounty in my life? It already puts everything in a way lighter and more fun place. So make sure that you engage in that to slowly but surely shift your outlook on finances from a place that you've maybe kind of gotten from ancestors, or that has been passed down to you, to your own beliefs, your own feeling of money. Then we have a little postcard here for you, group number 4. I'm going to read this to you. This postcard contains messages from your guides, so I just want you to enjoy, lean back, relax. So dearest you, miracles never run out. Look back over your life and you will see so many moments of synchronicity when all the right people, the right place, the right opportunities, and the right time just showed up without any of your help. Think back to how you felt just before a miracle happened. You felt you were giving up, but it was more like a gentle surrender to whatever was about to happen. We want you to know that miracles are being concocted for you, and you will never, ever run out of them. You just don't get to choose how they come, who will deliver them, when they will show up, and what they will do for you. All of that is our department. Spirit knows what is best for you and what wants to be expressed through you. You are incredible and amazing and a magnet for miracles. That would be a good mantra for you today. We're on it. Relax. If you only knew how much you were loved. Sigh. So I love these messages. I truly hope that you enjoyed those. Make sure that you leave a little, let's say a little money bag emoji down below if you made it to this point in the reading, group number 4. But I just want to add a few more cards in for you so we can figure out a little more of your next week, shall we? So we have career change as well as body work. So group number 4, I see here in career change that you're next week embarking on a new direction in your career. So that could be moving into a new space in your career, as in a new team, or just overall being a part of creating something completely new. This could also be a new career from the ground up, okay? Finally saying to yourself, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm going to fully make sure that with every ounce of my body and my being, that I lean into what does feel right and what I do feel is my purpose and should be my career path. So that is just one thing that can be so important for your body, that can be so important for your health, to lean into the things that feel right, especially your work, because we spend so much of our time, so much of our existence working and in our careers, that it's even more so important that you don't go there thinking, oh, when can I go home? But that you show up at your workplace in love with what you're doing. In body work, I see here that part of your life's purpose, your real career, involves body work. So that doesn't have to mean body work on another people, such as exercise, tattoos, and so on. Of course, it can be that type of body work in correspondence to other people, but body work where you're very in tune with your body. So knowing that if you, for instance, sit at a desk for a prolonged amount of time, you make time for yourself shortly after to do a workout session, a yoga session. You always kind of balance out your body being in motion, your body doing activities, healthy exercises, and your body being stagnant and your mind being in motion, right? So just like, for instance, I love to work out every morning because I'm sitting so much, I'm on my laptop a whole lot. I really do try to make sure that I focus on body work when I'm not doing these things, when I'm not doing my work that is on my laptop, that is stagnant, that is in a chair, so that I find that balance, so that my life can really feel purposeful because I am making sure that everything is connected, balanced, and feels good. Because what's the point in being the smartest or most innovative creator person, business person in the world if your body just feels like a bag of rocks, right? If your body is just stiff, crunchy, not in a good place, obviously that's going to start taking a toll on you psychologically. So make sure that you take good care of your body, that you know that your body is a part of your life's work and your purpose, and that you don't forget about it. You only get one, so take good care of it. Group number 4. So we are at the end of your reading, group number 4. I hope that you enjoyed your reading and that you found it insightful as well as motivational. Let me know in the comment section what hit home for you. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'm thankful for sharing this space with you today. And I'll see you in one of my upcoming videos.